Okay, in this video, I am going to show you how to manually paint an alpha. It occurred to me that I never made a video how to do this, and so I thought it'd be a good idea. So why would you want to manually paint the alpha? Well, the automatic alpha feature in MayaStar 6 and MayaStar 7 won't work with other dev kit bodies. It's only meant for the MayaStar avatar. And so you'll need to know how to manually paint an alpha. And this is if the dev kit that they give you has the same UV pattern as the body that they're selling is in world. Okay? And so if the dev kit that you're working with doesn't have the UVs that the body has in Second Life, then yeah, you can't manually paint it. It doesn't have to be the Second Life UVs if a particular body in world isn't using Second Life UVs. Okay, but most do. I mean, as far as I know, they all do, with some very minor differences. And so, okay, if any at all. So, okay, so first thing you're going to want to do is after you bring in your mesh clothing and you have it made to fit the dev kit body that you're going to paint the alpha, is create a new layer. Okay, this is the easiest way I do. Create a new layer and make it into a template. That way you can see through the mesh but still see where it lays out there. There's other ways of doing this. You could create a texture and then make it transparent. You could invert the faces so that, so there's always more than one way to do something. But this is just pretty quick and easy, and you can see what you're doing. And so the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to save your file. So make sure you save your file that you're going to be doing this on. And then you'll want to select the body. And then you're going to want to come up here and change it to rendering. And go to texturing 3D paint tool. Okay. Now I have the 3D paint tool. Now most likely what you'll see is a big X through the brush, and what that means is it means you haven't assigned a texture to the body yet. And now this one already has a texture assigned to it, so but we need to assign a different texture to it. So you go to tool settings and then you come down here to assign edit textures. Okay, by default it's like 512 by 512, which honestly is probably going to be just fine, but if you did want to up that to 10 by 24 you could, and keep ratio is going to change that. By default this is set to Maya TFF or IFF, I'm sorry, Maya IFF, and then I usually put it on JPEG. It's just easiest to see and all that kind of stuff, but you can play around with the different formats. I don't know if there's a format where you can make a JPEG directly and erase the textures. I've never tried that actually. It may have been when I learned this technique, this wasn't available. So I wonder if you could. It'd be interesting if you could use it and erase the area instead. But I'm going to show you the old school way first, and then maybe we'll do the other one. Okay, so this is the very old school way. So once you select JPEG, you click Assign Edit Textures, and now it's assigned a texture. Now, and then that X over the brush will go away. So the very first thing you want to do is, unless the body is already white, see, white is what's going to be visible, black is what's going to be invisible. So the first thing I need to do is I need to flood paint all white. So if this was down like here, I would just have to move that over to the right until it's white. If it still wasn't white, say it was a different color, you click here and then you click white. Okay. And then you click flood paint, and now it's all white. Okay, then the very next thing you're going to want to do is the color of your brush. You want the brush to be 100% black. See, so if it was like some like there or another color, just move it to the left till it's black. Opacity, you still want 1 in 1, so that's fine. I'm using a solid brush. It's probably the best. It's the best just to use a solid brush. You can use a soft edge brush if you really wanted to, but a solid brush is probably overall much better. Okay, so then we're going to come down to here, and as you see, whatever is black is going to be invisible. Okay, now I'm going to Control Z, get that back out of there. Okay, a faster way of doing it is to come down here to Stroke and turn on Reflection Y. Now we basically have 2, and we can get, you just basically have to paint one side to get both sides, as long as whatever you're doing is symmetrical. This will cut down the amount of time it takes. So I'm just going to do this real quick. And you can make your brush bigger by holding down the B key and then holding down the left mouse button, and you can make it bigger if you really want to cover more area quicker. Okay, now say something slips like that and you're going, oh, I went too far. All you have to do is hold down the Control key and it paints the opposite color. So that's how you undo your mistakes. And then if there's like this particular top, it's not quite symmetrical. This side over here is a little bit lower, so I could come and make any adjustments like that. Again, like this came down a little bit too far, hold down the Control key. To clean it up a little bit. And I don't have reflection on, so that's why I had to check both sides. And so that looks actually pretty good. Okay. Turn reflections back on. Okay. And maybe I want to... Okay. So that looks pretty good, you know. You want to make sure there's a bit of an overlap so that you're not taking the black all the way to the very edge of your clothing. Otherwise, the chances of people being able to see that your body is transparent from certain angles, like if you kind of come in here and look, you kind of see that that's probably going to poke up a little bit. You could probably see it if somebody were to be looking at that particular. So you can kind of do things like that, kind of look up. Yeah, this seems like it's a pretty extreme angle. Somebody would be looking at your avatar. So, but if you're not quite comfortable with that, you can make more of a safety margin. Okay, like say same thing with looking down the top. This is probably a bit more important, is more people are more likely to be looking down the top at the cleavage. Whoops. Hold down the Control key. There we go. Yeah, more people are probably going to look down the top like that than looking up like that. Okay. And I Whoops. Dang it. There we go. Okay, so say you're pretty happy with that, which I would be pretty happy. And you saw it didn't take very long. And the next thing all you have to do is click Save Textures. Now, when you click Save Textures, it's going to save it. Now, it's going to save it to wherever you saved your project. Okay, so it's going to project, and then I guess it's probably in here, default. But it says it down here, see? Maya project default manual alpha example, which is the name of the so it's going to be in a folder, the same name as your file is saved as. That's probably one of the reasons why you really need to save the file before you assign the textures. Okay, and then it made the texture. So what we want to do is I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to open up Windows Explorer. Okay, so here we are in the folder. You can see that's the name of the file, and here it is that we created. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how to take this black and white image and how to make an alpha in Photoshop, the actual file that you're going to upload to Second Life. So I'm trying to keep these videos a little bit shorter, so I'm going to do that in the next video.